What's up everybody, Pete with Auto Repair Tips. In this video I got a 14 Kia Soul base model. Customer says they were driving along, started smelling a bunch of gas, engine started misfiring real bad, shaking. They got it here to me, parked it out in the lot, walked in, threw me the keys and said, I ain't driving it till you fix it. So let's get into it and see can we figure it out. First thing I did was I went ahead and threw my scanner on it and I pulled the codes. Came up with a P0300, P0302 I believe it was, and a P0304. Misfires are number 2 and 4 cylinder. So I started it up. I was kind of hoping maybe like a cool pack or something went out, goes bad or went out. And of course that wasn't the issue. I immediately could start smelling the fuel. So, and I pulled up the misfire counts on those cylinders and it wasn't showing an ignition misfire, but it was definitely misfiring. So the next thing I did was I went ahead and because I was smelling fuel, I went into the fuel injection system and let me show you what I found. All right, so with the car running, you can see 1, 2, and 3, they're all firing about the same, no issues. At one time, number 2 did show up as a misfire because from what I was reading, the number 4 and the number 2 go together. Switching over here to the scope, right now it's not doing anything, but let me back out and go back into it. I think it was, no, was I doing a signature test? No, I was doing, maybe it was a signature test. One thing about the Kia, they made it really easy to back probe the wiring going to the injectors. So right now I'm looking for a known good one. So I went to the white and the brown one. That's your number 1 injector. That's a known good injector. There's no issues with that one. No codes came up at all. So I hooked into that one and that's the waveform. I was looking at the waveform that Snap-on provided. It's a little bit different right here. It's more rounded and it's got the little turbulence right there. Maybe it's like for maybe when the pendulum hits or something, but there's no issue. So we're going with that as being a good pattern. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and go into the number 4. The number 4 is blue and red. I'm gonna tap it in the blue and red one and let's see if that's got the same waveform. Speaking of that, on the number 4 injector, the blue is the high side and the red is the low side. You would think it'd be the other way. Red being high, right? All right, we're tapped in and it is the exact same pattern. So I'm gonna say right now that the computer's working correctly. So let me tell you where I'm at. A minute ago, we were running a test and I was showing you the current in it. I'm gonna run another test now and it's gonna check the current along with the ground signal to it because this fuel injector gets grounded out. The computer sends a ground signal to each injector. And of course, while I was getting set up, check this out. It is running absolutely perfect. All the injectors are working fine. There's no misfire, anything. You know, I was talking to my son-in-law and he is a service manager at one time at Kia. And he was telling me that on a lot of these cars here that sometimes a harness somehow gets oil in it and they get oil fouled out. It's a messing thing and it'll mess it up, cause bad readings and injectors do all kinds of stuff. I haven't seen anything anywhere yet when it comes to oil in a harness or anything. But what I'm gonna do is let me go ahead and hook up the number 1 injector and show you what a good signal looks like. It's gonna have good volts and you'll see that spike, that ground signal, bam, 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 and that's what fires that injector. That's gonna be hooked up and I'll show you. So on my scope, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the DC voltage test. Looking at that, you're gonna get 2 waveforms. The first one is this one right here. With the yellow test lead at the voltage input to the direct injector, the voltage should almost immediately rise to over 60 volts in about 200 milliseconds. This will allow enough time for the electrical force applied to open the direct injector as it is engaged. The next voltage feed to the injector will immediately turn off. So this is what it's going to look like right here. This one down here, you're going to see it simultaneously. So the green test lead should be at the control side of the direct injector. That's going to be the ground signal that you're going to be getting. The voltage on the control side will remain low near 0. Once the injector is energized, the voltage will continue to be low, close to 0 volts, and will then rise a very small amount. The waveform will have a momentary spike, and then finally the inductive kick as the direct injector is turned off. This is what that's going to look like. And they'll work together in conjunction. So let's go ahead and go to the number 1 injector. The low control side is brown and the high control side is white. Let me get that hooked up and then we'll look at it. So let's go down here. Let's go ahead and hit the meter. Let's see what we got going on. All right, there we go. So this is pretty cool. I was reading this earlier. Look at the green signal, how it's firing, then it's not firing. Somewhere I read it's called like ghosting or something. When it turns off momentarily, the green side, which is the control side, low control side, it kind of mimics the high side. The high side here, we're sitting right at 70, and we're looking good. So here's why you're seeing the, I call it ghosting, but it's not really ghosting, they're calling it something else. But 2 and 4 are companion cylinders. Just remember that when I read this. Next, the voltage will be turned on to the injector at about the same time the companion cylinder would fire. But because the injector is not being energized, the voltage is only phantom voltage and is not controlling the injector. I call it ghosting, they call it phantom. I guess phantom sounds more scary, right? But when you see that green pop over here, that's what it is. It's not actually doing anything, because watch, when it pops here, the ground signal goes away. The waveform will look like a clone of the power side injector. Ignore this portion of the waveform, as it is floating voltage on the control side of the direct injector, and there is no current flowing through it, the injector. The portion of the control side waveform is irrelevant. So when it goes away, it floats back over here. I call it ghosting, they call it whatever, phantom. So we're looking at number 1, and there's no issues there, and we have no issues here. I'm gonna let this thing run for a little bit, but I'm gonna switch it over to number 4, because that's when we were having our problems. So looking at injector number 4, the low side is the red side, the high side is the blue side. Low side is red side, and there's the blue side. All right, and we have the exact same perfect waveform. All right, so as you can see, I've been messing with this thing now for a couple hours off and on for 2 days. I cannot get it to skip a beat. If you look here at this other clip I have going on, you can obviously see that it's missing on 2 or more cylinders. And every once in a while, the number 2 cylinder will skip in there. But, so here's what I did. I called the customer up and we talked originally. And we said, I priced out a computer from the dealer, and the dealership said it was like, I don't know, list price was under $500. So talking to him, he's like, well, being it's not messing up, but we know it was messing up, let's go ahead and do the computer, because there is no oil leak. I checked for oil leaks everywhere. I didn't see anything in the harness that was oil fouled out. So called an order from the dealership. The dealership brings me the computer. I don't know what the hell they brought, but it was about this big around. I told the guy, I said, that's more like a ABS, not ABS, that's more like an airbag module, is what it looks like to me. He argued with me a little bit, and I was like, dude, I brought him out to the car. I said, that's the computer right there. He said, oh man, our bad. So he went back to the Kia dealership, pulled up that price. That list price is almost $1,900, he told me. Said, that kind of changes everything. I told the customer, I said, it's not worth taking a gamble. I can't get it to mess up, and I just don't want to replace parts. That's just not me. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to play with it some more for about an hour or so today, and keep my eye on it, check the readings, make sure that it doesn't skip out, mess up, get it good and hot. If it doesn't, I'm just going to give it back to them and tell them if it starts messing up, just bring me the car back. Let me do a reading at that time. I will put them in front of everybody, just bring it back. But that's where we're at. I don't feel comfortable enough condemning a computer if I can't get it to mess up again. So, all right, let me get this scope hook back up. Let's get the readings going. I'll show you what they look like now. This is a cold start, and then I'll show you guys after it's been running for about 30-40 minutes. All right, we're going to do the DC voltage test. That's the one that's got the extra readings in it. I call it extra readings, the ghosting. It's going to have this one and this one in it. So let me go ahead and get it started up. This is what it looks like on a cold start. Let's get a nice big screen here. All right, as you can see on the cold start, it did just fine. It's got a little bit of a high RPM because it's cold, and that is the number 4 cylinder we're looking at. That's the one that's been acting up the most. So let me let it run, get hot, and let's see what happens. I mean, I don't want to wish bad luck on the guy, but I would like to see it mess up so we can fix it for the guy. I really hate to see him drive this car down the road and then 30 miles or something starts happening, especially if you're on the interstate or you're pulling out in front of somebody. But like I said, I'm just not comfortable enough to condemn a computer and then not be a computer. So it's been running for about an hour and a half now. I've checked multiple cylinders. Everyone is reading exactly the same. So at this point, I am not going to condemn a computer. It's just one of them things, you know, it's kind of a lame video, but it's one of the things you go through when you actually work on cars for a living. You know, a guy will bring you a car and he has all the issues in the world. You bring it in to work on it and it magically fixes itself. I wonder if I could charge him for that. I magically fixed your car. That'd be kind of cool, huh? All right. Well, that being said, this job is done. We're not doing anything to it. But I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Catch you later.